Go woke, go broke is what they say. And I'll be totally transparent and let you know that there is a tremendous amount that I do not agree with as it relates to Disney. What do you think, Brooke?
Think what?
She doesn't think anything about it. And the fact that they're remaking Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs with a completely different cast that does not include a Snow White or Seven Dwarfs seems like a tremendously bad business decision to me. And truthfully, I had hoped that what they said was true and that Disney was suffering from a lack of support. At least so far, I don't see any evidence of this being true at all. But the one thing I can definitely confirm is that it is extremely hot. And I suspect most people who are waiting in these lines are completely miserable. And while I certainly can't confirm everybody else's experience, I can tell you that is true for me. And to be clear, I am not confused. I am fully aware that by talking about some of these issues, I am likely to lose many subscribers. I am likely to lose many of your views. And to be totally transparent, that's okay. Because I also know the market is always right. And as it relates to content, you are the market. Your views are your vote. And I know based on past experience, every time I talk about anything sensitive like Disney, like woke ideology, and God forbid I actually talk about Governor Ron DeSantis, I know I am at risk and could potentially lose a lot of you. And while that's certainly not what I want, I fully understand that what I want and what I get are two very different things. And that's okay. Because it would be completely irresponsible, in my opinion, for me to be here and not talk about these things. And I've seen lots of different news outlets reporting the fact that attendance is down here at Disney. And while I'm certainly not an auditor and I certainly don't have real-time data, I can say, based on my experience of having come here for the last 10 years, I can share my experience, which is that attendance is just as strong as it's ever been. But the culture and the climate and all the things that are going on in the world are completely different. And I'd be lying to you if I told you that I didn't feel like a hypocrite sometimes as a parent, because there is a lot about Disney that I don't agree with. But given that my children who are young love coming here and it is a family tradition, I'm able to articulate to them what my beliefs are, and I can sleep well at night knowing that they know the difference. But building on the Disney campus is going through the roof. You can see in the background the new prison that Ron DeSantis is building right now on the Disney campus. And irrespective of what your beliefs are, whether you're a Bob Iger fan or a Ron DeSantis fan, I think that we can all agree that a new prison on Disney campus grounds is a good idea. And no, I'm not serious. That's not a prison. That is a new addition to the Disney Polynesian Resort Village. But last night, while I was going for a walk, I couldn't help but notice a pack of deer. And I don't know if it's really called a pack or a herd or a gaggle or whatever it's called, but there were 3 or 4 deer that were running in the wild right next to the roadway, right next to the walking path, which is across the street from this new construction site. As I zoom in, you can see across the way that there are cement pipes that are all laid out for new construction. And I think we can all agree that a prison on Disney grounds is no bueno. I rarely hear anybody talking about what the environmental impact will be to the wildlife that surrounds this area. And to be abundantly clear, this is not an indictment as to what's happening here in terms of new construction and new development. This is happening everywhere in Florida, and it's certainly happening in my hyper-local market. But I think we can all agree that nobody wants to be in prison, so I'm not going to harp on that subject. And to be clear, I'm joking. That is not a Disney prison. But I read your comments, and many of you feel like you are trapped. Many of you feel like you are in your own financial prison. And many of you are suffering from the affordability crisis that exists because home prices have skyrocketed and mortgage interest rates have too. But many of you believe, and to be clear, this is not everyone, but it is some of you. So I want to address those particular comments. And I hope you can see the hat that I'm wearing. And I've shared a little bit about this in the past. I've recently joined Pace Morby's Sub 2 investor community and mastermind. And I know there are a tremendous amount of folks out there that are feeling financial distress. And I don't suspect that's going to get better anytime soon. But I am here to tell you that there is massive opportunity that exists out there if you are willing to do the work. And if there is anyone out there right now who believes they are priced out of the market and they will never own a home, I'm here to tell you that is not true. The truth is, if you are willing to learn, if you are willing to do the work, if you are willing to evolve and level up, and to be clear, I know these things to be true because I've done them myself. I have yet to meet anybody who, when they audit their life and audit their time, doesn't discover how much time they are wasting. And if that time was invested in learning how to acquire properties for themselves, they would quickly discover that there is a massive untapped market that they don't know about. And there are plenty of folks out there right now, myself included, who are going out there and acquiring real estate with no cash, no credentials, and no credit. Now, to be perfectly transparent, it helps to have all those things, and I do, but those things are not required. And I want to thank everybody who has opted in and become a patron of my Patreon account, because I am in the process of building out a tremendous content library of me doing it myself. And for everybody who's joined, I do appreciate your patience, because I have learned it takes an enormous amount of time to grow and scale the foundation of that business, which is a requirement for me, because I know what happens when I get into action. I end up with a tremendous amount of opportunities, of appointments, and a tremendous amount of work. And I have learned to be careful what I ask for, because I usually get it. And no, I'm not asking you to cry me a river. And I certainly don't want anybody's sympathy. I'm just letting you know it takes time to build these things out the right way. And I certainly don't want to dilute any of the businesses that are currently thriving. But I am here to let you know that there is a tremendous amount of content coming soon on Patreon. So if learning about that is your thing, please follow me on Patreon, because I go off.
My favorite part about Disney is when they have glass windows and they put little plastic ideas for you to look at. And it's
That's
like,
called stained glass.
and they also put like people in it, like one of the cartoon characters from Disney World. And then they put them inside the glass, and they have like bean bags or
Okay, let's
they can
go.
use like.
And while it certainly can't be argued that the latest movies that have come out have bombed at the box office, from everything that I can see so far, park attendance seems to be on the uptick. I know for certain that the market is always right. And if the consumer makes a decision not to engage or purchase the service or product that's being offered, well, then the business takes a material hit. And as a boots on the ground operator of a high performance real estate team, I know that the market is always right. And I know that the market will tell me whether I've overpriced a home or not. And I also know, when representing a buyer, what the strength of the market is based on the amount of showings that are happening on the property that we're looking at. And my opinions or feelings about what the market should be are completely irrelevant, because the market does not care. And the market is always right. Now, I hope you found this content valuable. And if you did, please subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend. Check me out on Twitter, where I can never be censored. Follow me on Patreon, where I go off, and check out my next video, because I suspect you will love it a lot. And until next time,
Peace.